Hola, amigos, amigas, amoebas, and contigos. I'm host Eric, host Talking Fast People, and I'm live streaming tonight. It's a nightcap of a long day. Once again, I'm going to get not very many hours of sleep. It's already 10:30 almost, but I'm going to gain an hour going back, which is nice. Anyhow, Horseman and I had a very fun day today, a very exciting day. I'm going to make this bigger. So I do want to talk about functions a little bit tonight, and FETISI, the conundrum of the INTP and the different conundrum that the INFP faces, and some of the differences between them. So I've noted when typing INFPs in the past that they have a tendency to really like the answer, it depends. Hi, Dark Phoenix. And my thinking on that is simply that if you ask them hypothetical abstract questions, or like, if a person comes up to you and what would you do? Would you be more likely to meh or meh? Those kind of questions INFPs just can't answer because they're looking to their feelings. You're talking to somebody about an abstract made-up situation that maybe, hi, horse rumbler, that maybe doesn't even have a lot of linkage to anything in their experience at all. Well, they're not going to have any authentic value for it. I mean, they're not going to weight it very heavily authentically with their FI. So what ends up happening for the INFPs is they have a lot of trouble answering the kind of questions I tend to ask because they are particularist in their frame. And so when you say, within a universal frame, how would you universally respond? They go, all frames are particularist. So they don't say that, they just say it depends. Now, Horse Mumbler displayed a similar lack of enthusiasm for quick, direct response, let's say. But it was different. It was not like it depends. It was like, in order to answer that, I really feel like I should explicate topic areas A, B, and D. Yeah, I need to lie down right now. I've had a SI taxing a few days. You know, long car drives are challenging on my neck and shoulders, especially. And then I didn't get very much sleep last night, and I didn't get very much sleep the night before, although that was just because I was sort of anxious to get on the road. I wasn't on any Adderall then. But I'm probably not going to get very much sleep tonight. I plan to leave in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m., you know. And I have plans to actually meet with my dad in Palm Desert, which is on the way back to my house. He left the house to go on a little jaunt himself. I'm going to meet him in Palm Desert in the morning for breakfast. So now that I made those plans, I got to get out of here reasonably early. Also, of course, it'll be nice because I'll avoid the traffic by and large. So back to the topic of FETISI. For a TISI-FE user, I'd say that it's mostly, FE mostly feels like possible landmines. It's not so much that they try to attain good outcomes as they try to avoid bad outcomes in that area. Morning, it's 9:30 p.m. where I am. I think it's 10:30 p.m. here. No, it's not pre-recorded. You must be on the West Coast, Heather Bryant. Are you in California, Oregon, or Washington? Or maybe Nevada? Good advice, horse mumbler. Good advice. For instance, mom's not here, she might not even remind you. I guess all like it. All right, I can't like it. How do you like it? I guess. Okay, so thing is, NTPs in general, and maybe NFPs as well, but I think mostly it's NTPs. We have a lot of faith in the idea that if we can successfully communicate that, like, it'll have some sort of solvency or whatever. So, like, if I were to like when I occasionally I fuck up with my dad, if my dad will bust my chops, and when I say occasionally I'll fuck with my dad, what I mean is occasionally my dad will bust my chops, and he'll be in the right, and I won't really have any defense for it. And in those instances, I'll try a bunch of FE shit, like, hey, Dad, I'm trying my hardest, blah, blah, blah. I'm a team player. I don't know what the problem is here. But the thing about that is, his fundamental attitude is, damage is already done. Like, saying sorry won't do any good. I don't like that, being an FE user. I'm a big believer in words fixing things. But, what I saw in Horse Fumbler the last couple of days is somebody who's more strongly about words over realities than I have ever been. It's like, NTPs, ENTPs and INTPs have the same fundamental challenge in life, which is we're drowning in words. We're absolutely drowning in words. And disinterested calculus means we're able to find words that we think not unfairly cast us in a failing light. That's part of just having a disinterested calculus, is you end up kind of having a counter-interested calculus, because your primary consideration is to not be guilty of self-deception or something like that. Would seem like an odd, probably to an INFP, would seem a very odd perspective to take. Because to an INFP, it's like, that's the only thing you really do know, is what your authentic meows are. So, fourth slot FE differs a lot from third slot FE. But it also depends on the moment and the place and the time and circumstances of where you are in your life right now, wherever you are. It's like my FE is much more on point. um, it's it's one of those things where everything kind of goes along together in a pack, which is to say, certainty, confidence, and ease. They go together, and it's not clear which is causing the other. From my understanding of things, the number one critical element in quote unquote getting out of your own way is certainty. You have to have certain things nailed down, be certain about them. What those things are depends on who your particulars and other shit. Probably though, it has to do with relationship stuff. For most NTPs, being in a successful, happy, stable, long-term relationship provides a necessary frame, especially if you've got an FE using partner. So a single NTP is going to always feel probably more lost in general than one who's on a two-person team in a partnership. But at the same time, NTPs are very likely to do a poor job of picking partners. Yeah, NTPs in general are a lot more comfortable taking FE risks. It also kind of is revelatory about the way in which things link together. Like, part of the reason why we're more comfortable taking taking FE risk is because we don't remember the failures as acutely as INTPs do. So it's like, I have some FE failures in life, sure, plenty of them. And I've experienced plenty of shame shivers, but it's not as chronic a condition, and it's not, I think, as acute an experience, and it's not generally as defining a reality for third slot as it is for fourth, both because the FE is a little stronger, more active anyway. Stronger is not the right word. Third slot's a little more active, and it's also more clearly framed. Third slot, you're doing it for yourself. That's where you get paid. It's one of the few kind of cognitive function aspects of self that should be pretty clear to everybody in the third slot. But so I expect to successfully use FE selfishly. When I don't, I check myself for sure. It's like a big problem, right? But think about the INTP in contrast. They expect themselves to use SI successfully. And since they're TI-DOMs, that means remembering things accurately so that they can make consistency calculi and other disinterested calculi. Being basically universalists, like ENFPs and INFJs and ENFJs, being meta-analysts means they are always forgetting to compare themselves against actualities. Taylor once told me a long time ago, because I had a tendency to do this as well, he said, don't compare yourself against an ideal. Compare yourself against other people. Now, the funny thing about that suggestion is it seems like broadly accepted common knowledge that don't compare yourself to other people is widely accepted as the important truth to remember. But I much prefer Taylor's notion there. Do compare yourself to other people. Don't compare yourself to an ideal. Because the INTP or ENTP can obviously always think of ways in which they could have done a better job. INTPs and ENTPs both tend to feel a lot of times like they are not living up to their potential. I still feel that way a lot of times. Uh, I made that miniature museum video, which I was excited to make, and it didn't take a particularly long time, and I'm very happy with it. I didn't even watch the game today. I was so busy. So who won? Kansas City and Tennessee? Oh, thanks, Winston's mom. So I was really happy with that video too. It didn't take a super long time to make. And I've got another one that I'm currently making about our trip to this Sabino Canyon recreation area, which is part of the national park. And we took video clips, took some stills, and I also played around a little bit with the slow-mo and super slow-mo, which I never tried on my phone before. So I thought I'd play with those a little bit. But anyway, I got that video. I got multiple videos coming. I want to do some editing on most of them. Just because it makes for better watching experience for me too. Yeah. So like, kind of running empty here because I got up super early in the morning and I made that beat that turned into the song at the end of that video there, which just has the vocals of me and Horsefall. We're talking about the ridiculous name of the museum, the Mini Time Machine Museum of the Miniatures. I think I may have a "the" in there somewhere. What a silly name. How do you identify your feelings about stuff even though you have a bipolar? Um, yes, Winston's mom, Horse Mumbler is one of those people who, like a lot of people, a lot of NTPs, is not very kind to himself, to put it simply, is too fair to himself about himself. Like, no, Asperger's is bullshit. Doug Phoenix is actually right. I've had that conversation so many times. So it's like a lot of people are their own worst critics. And we made this video also that I plan to upload probably separately about expectations of other people's expectations. Like, I didn't come here with any particular expectations. Horse Mumbler may have had expectations for himself, but I get the sense that in general, he was stressed about what he perceived to be my likely expectations. But I didn't come here thinking, he's going to be good at making videos with me on the fly or something, or like it's gonna come easy for him or anything like that. Or even that he would necessarily make videos with me. I figured I'd get him to make a quick appearance in a video, at least. But I was very well prepared for the notion that, he might say, I don't really want to be on camera. Okay, fine, whatever. The thing is, I found the whole experience quite compelling, in part because I was like, what can I do or say to get this guy to accept the basic truth that he's kind of pimping? Like, he's got a nice pad, lives by himself, he's got a lot of nice stuff. I love this town, Tucson. It's great. It's really nice. Tucson is fantastic. It's beautiful, clean, polite, cheap. Um, and, he's a really smart guy. Uh, so, what do you say to somebody who's not parenting themselves leniently enough? Like, I know that Marshmallow would never expect of anybody else, like, let's say a kid or something. He never expect his kid to be anywhere close to as perfect as he expects himself to be. And he would be appalled if somebody else did. But it's like INTPs get the sense that because they can see how all the potentialities parse out, that they're responsible somehow for addressing all those potentialities. Or if they fail to do so, then you feel unsatisfied that things not really been parsed out. Um, you know, I told them to look for ESFJ. That was good for INTPs. Uh, yeah, he needs a woman who doesn't need him for their own well-being. Um, because he's not capable of doing anything but taking absolute responsibility for that other party's emotions. Even though he's not needing to be, he's not to be, he does that too. INTPs need someone to tell them what to do. INTPs mostly need someone to need them to do things. INTPs need, the ideal situation for INTP would be is a village of dumb people. And the INTP is the only one who can figure out like 40% of the challenges that arise. And the dumb villagers are always coming to the INTP and going, INTP, please use your genius again to help us. We can't figure this out. That would be a situation in which the INTP would be extremely successful and productive because that's what motivates them. They'll be motivated by other people needing their help to do something, needing their skill sets and knowledge and expertise. And unfortunately, that's just not the way society really operates. I've been to Arizona once and the air was way too arid on top of the heat for me. So I can imagine anyone else I lives there. Well, right now it's January, so it's lovely around here. Summer, obviously, it's a little bit more hot. Well, I mean, that's too broad a question to answer, Dark Phoenix. Like your ENTJs and your um, well, like ENTJs seem a lot more sensory. So do INFPs. Those can seem more sensory. Depends. Um, it goes to the two physical intuitives. I think all the rest of the intuitives are metaphysical. So there's 6 metaphysical intuitives and 2 physical intuitives. So that's why it's a difficult question to answer. But I would say, intuitives are going to be more meaning focused, less concretely focused. What do INFJs need to do to be successful? Make the right person fall in love with them. Probably. They don't really like handling shit, So what does that make me? I got a hard time thinking I'm gonna see Dom. I don't know what you are, Ethan McDonald. Like, what do you mean? I think I'm not sure if I ever thought you were an SE Dom or not. Maybe I did. Yeah, I can read it. I made it bigger. I made the I pushed Zoom on Chrome. Makes everything a little bit bigger. Uh, okay, so he's not really a complainer. He's a bit of a neurotic hand wringer. I wouldn't call him a complainer. Like, what kind of a woman would an INTJ need? Well, I think you're supposed to be with ENFP, really. Is the best type for you. ENFP, INTJ. Because, Dark Phoenix, you're not a sensor. For God's sakes. As if no sensor in history has ever hummed and hawed about various abstract statuses about the self half as much as you do every day before breakfast. You are not a sensor. You're either an INTP or an ENTP. You're probably an ENTP. When you said that was the first time I didn't find myself saying, yeah, I disagree with it. First time I had no response but except, that makes sense. You've been about 18 different types now already, Eileen. So that's pretty impressive considering there's only 16 of them. I need to refill my water cup. Let me take off these socks too because they got some cactus thorns in them. Now, I don't know if you've ever gotten cactus thorns in your socks before, but it can turn out to be a prickly situation. Can ENTPs be physical? Yeah, I'm pretty physical. You know, I'm not unathletic. I'm reasonably, even at 50, I can run reasonably fast. I can cover a fair amount of distance in a very short period of time. I don't carry any extra weight. I got long ass legs, and Hi, Maddie Sanchez. How's Argentina? That's how they say it down there. They don't pronounce their J's. They pronounce them as H's. Just like Eric Thor pronounces his J's as yays. You know what? Just because I'm smoking doesn't mean I really have to exclude you. I can include you in the smoking. I can. This is not over 21. It's an all ages smoking experience. Everyone's welcome. Even the newborns. They should sit closer so they get their fair share of the smoke, otherwise the adults will hose it. This is so dumb. Yes, it does kind of balance there. It's a good way to break your laptop. Of course, I don't have a lighter with me. Swift Eagle traveled back in time to about, say, 1977, Weber College, and I would have happily slapped you in the face, but only in my head. You do really need a good woman, and one who thinks and feels. I gotta see what you guys are responding to from Swift Eagle. She's just theory is that SE users are dominant, SA users submissive, though he won't use that terminology. It's complete garbage. It's totally ridiculous. I mean, the thing is, SE DOMs want to have decided and it's time to take the action now. So it might make them seem like they're kind of forceful, but that's not forcefulness. That's like, I'm not about all this pointless chit chat, y'all. I mean, extroverts in general like to position themselves more so than introverts do. They tend to like to see attainment on social vectors, even if they're not FEs and extroverts. Like, my TE Dom dad, he's got any third slot. He likes to talk a lot, but he don't like to listen very much. I'm going back inside now. I mean, look, SE Doms don't like being told to wait. They don't like. They don't really like the knowing interfacing modalities. Like, so when other people say, wait, hold on, here's some knowledge though before we take any action. Or if people go, hold on, here's some extroverted intuition, other possible things we need to think about. They're gonna always be like, ah. And that plays into why they're being thought of as forceful, because they do want to move things along to the next doing stage. If you can't beat them up. That's your saying. What if you can't beat them or beat them up? Can you beat their meat then? Eric, you are wrong. What am I wrong about? Well, you like knowledge, but you want it fast. All right, that's why I'm saying the SC DOMs reject the knowledge interface modality, because it's not just knowledge. You want knowledge fast so you can act on it. Well, what that means is you are a action deliberation type, and you treat knowledge as completed deliberation rather than something that transitions into interface like it actually does. Richard Sherman? Who's Richard Sherman? If I could choose a type, it would be ISTP. They're all like me in many ways, except they get more done, is what you're saying? I hate when your videos are 40 minutes, but it can be like 10. Well, the videos I upload as uploads, direct uploads, are almost never 40 minutes. But the live streams certainly are. And it's just an entirely different medium. It's designed for a different purpose. The live stream is mostly here so that I can talk shit out on my end, and you have your chance to tell me I'm wrong and to tell me my videos are too long and stuff like that. If we didn't have 40 minutes of live stream or longer, then well, you wouldn't have gotten out your complaint. And you would have felt like you weren't heard. Now you'll feel like you were heard and ignored. I mean, but just it not actually the case that it's very, very rarely do I upload a video that's not a live stream that's 40 minutes long. Occasionally, usually almost for certain it has a second person in it. Well, I mean, yeah, okay. I've gone through multiple phases in my 5,000 plus videos. I don't doubt that some older videos are too long. Some newer videos are too long, maybe. I don't know. You know, I don't worry about my past failures or past falling shorts or whatever. I know I'm always going to make periodic mistakes in my media. I would hope, as a general rule, that the arc is like a stock market arc, just generally going up, but kind of goes down sometimes too, a little bit. I think it's probably accurate. My recent live stream has been very dull because I've really been utilizing the live stream as just sort of a hangout and throw my head and chat with you guys kind of a thing. And in those contexts where I'm not making much of an effort to continually push forward on content production, so to speak, then it's it's not something I can listen to after the fact. But that's the thing. It's for its own purpose. These 40 minutes, 45, I'm probably going to wrap this up in about 5 or 10 minutes, but because I got to sleep some. But these are for this interaction. These are for, you know, seeing you guys again, because it's like I feel lost if I don't call Rachel, check in with her, which I did on the way back from Horse Mumblers. I feel lost if I don't live stream and set the record of the day straight or something. It's a habit I've come to find is very um, it's SI satisfying, and it's I mean, it allows me to do what I am naturally designed to do, which is to spit words out onto the external metaphysical plane. Bonska? Borska? What's Borska? I don't know what Borska is. Sorry, not Borska. Borscht. There is one person I want to type police who apparently is fairly big and needs to be in jail. But Mo Baker sounds like a cosmopolitan fellow. Maybe this is why it pays to have a young man around. Here's the thing about video making and such. I have a certain amount of energy that I am able, willing, and interested in putting into making like properly made videos, or sort of properly made. Museum video is a good example of what I'm talking about. There was a 12-minute chunk of video that I basically didn't edit at all. It was fine, just that 12 minutes of me basically making jokes at the museum. And then I just put still images on both sides of it and put some music under the still images. And I think it came out great like that. It didn't take a lot of time. It wasn't really edited per se, but the reason I didn't edit the video part is there wasn't any part I wanted to cut out, really. It kept my interest the whole time. So, I have a certain amount of energy to make videos like that. Now, what I'm making currently is a rather more time-consuming effort than the museum one. But I hope to have it out by tomorrow sometime. And then I've got some other videos that I've made with Horse Mumbler while I'm here, like some of which I could upload straight, or I could try to put together into sort of a story of the trip video with narration and shit. Again, if I decide to do that, that's going to take a lot of time. Not a lot of time, but it's you gotta be kind of nitpicky with it for it to work. Well, Horse Mumbler, it's only troublesome advice if you don't think you're currently being unkind to yourself. I mean, I agree with your argument there, more or less, in the abstract, until I think Yeah, but he actually is being unkind to himself. I mean, if you talk to other people, talk to her about other people the way you talk about yourself and to yourself, you would call your words to and about them unkind. Um, so optimal jobs for INTP, some sort of systems analyst, coder. So when it comes to like videos that I can or should or will make, I'll make another type police at some point. Uh, the reason I stopped making type police when I did is basically I ran out of good people to type police. You know, it's a kind of a losing proposition or diminishing returns when you're typing people smaller than you because they're just going to be perceived as mean to the extent that you. Yeah, it's a challenging thing to do as far as the FE shit goes. Well, that's not type police though. The rules for type police are somebody has to say they're a given type in order to be found guilty of mistyping themselves. Right, but they have to mistype themselves. They have to say, I am a blah, blah, blah. And I have to go, no, you're not. I could do I could do what you're saying, I found bacon. That's a different thing though. Cloud, what I'm saying is type police is a specific thing. I could type famous people like C.S. Joseph does. I mean, there's a shit ton of good ideas, of things that I could do that would be much more successful than just life feeling like this. Um, you know, I'm working on doing some other videos. Uh, like for me to pull it off, really, what I need to do is like there's an idea like this that I think about periodically. Make a bunch of rather short videos, 10 minutes or less ish, or slightly more, maybe, or whatever, about single topics. Try to keep the NI focused narrow and talk about philosophy or functions, personality, or any sort of thing. All the different topics people ask me about over and over again. It's like a short video on like, is Asperger's real? Or a short video on how do you define truth anyway? Short video on all those sort of things. If I could just make a whole shit ton of them in one day, hammer a bunch of them out, I could schedule them and probably have a good impact. And it's something I could potentially do because it doesn't require any follow through on a regular basis. Follow through is the problem. Plans and follow through. Yeah, I know he does. And a lot of people have asked me to type famous people before, and I have typed famous people for Rachel. And she asked me to type famous people. I typically do. Eric, how would you define metacognition? I would say that it has to do with thinking beyond the immediate context and linking disparate things. It's got a nice, easy definition of simpler than that. It's thinking about thinking, thinking about how you think. So, one of the better, possibly the best definition of mental retardation is people who are mentally retarded do not typically have metacognition. It's true that typing famous people has done well for C.S. Joseph. Like, people want to see that. Um, the main reason I don't do that more or um, pursue that angle has to do with copyright stuff. I'd want to be able to access video clips of the people that I was typing. I'm not sure which of those video clips would be copyright problems and which one wouldn't be copyright problems. I'm not sure how much of it I could use, and I'm worried about getting in trouble with YouTube because I already have a warning. I'm often sarcastic, but I'm not being sarcastic right now. Have I gone through each type and made an overview video? No. I mean, the thing is, a lot of types, if you make an overview video, they don't really get any views because people don't want to watch the ESTJ one or the ESFJ one or whatever. One thing I liked about spending time with Horse Mumbler is it made me try to think about engaging in non-adversarial, non-conflict ways, non-confrontational ways. He doesn't like a lot of chow chow. So, I try to, when we were talking about definitions of words that have been contentious, but perhaps in the past between me and other people or whatever else, maybe me and him, words like nation, state, race, gender, and sex. I wanted to be non-advocatory and to instead be dialectic and meta-analytical and just go, okay, well, yeah, that's one way that people define it a lot, and there's another way, not really advocate one particular definition over another. We ended up talking about gender, and we avoided entirely the conflict that people normally run into, or the problem people normally run into. Normally, people, when they talk about gender, they don't begin with the fact that really gender is a linguistic term referring to qualities of language. So he and I both started in the same spot there and agreed on that. And so normally that would resolve any dispute. But because he's an INTP and I'm an EHP, we did have some dispute over how many genders there were in English. There are three: feminine, masculine, and neuter, but he wanted to include common for they and you and we. And there's another one he said too. I don't remember. But of course, a couple of TI users, I said, well, that's not, it's true that they can potentially contains both genders, but it is not a gender. In fact, it's specifically non-gendered because it might contain all males, all females, or a mix of both. Anyway, the point is, I know I have a tendency to be, to argue to win, I guess, sometimes. But I really prefer meaningful dialectical progress. Well, here's the thing I found, Bacon. While I may some sort of lament my own uh, poorly poorly calculated interest, there's not actually any problem here. You know, it's easy enough to think there's a problem because there's a lot of potential being wasted in some regard, or you know, opportunity cost. That there's a problem because Eric's not using his time wisely, and some things he spends his time working on are vastly more purposefully spent time than others. But I mean, it'll all sort of play out as it does. I don't know. Right now, I'm super tired. I guess I'm gonna end this stream just because I suddenly feel quite exhausted and thirsty too. So I'm gonna drink some water and sleep for at least a few hours, hopefully. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. Wow.